Good morning. This is Norma Cowie once more with Norma Talks. My topic today is called History Repeats Itself and subtitle, When Will Humanity Learn? Perhaps you have noticed you have patterns in your life which repeat. Hopefully you notice those. And what do you do when you do notice? For me, I begin to change my thinking and behaviors and really take a good look at what my belief systems are. Beliefs are usually taught. We learn them from our parents. We learn them from our society. We also bring some of those in from past lives or other lives, I should say. And I've talked about that a number of times. But history also has patterns, unfortunately, on a larger scale, putting one section of society against another. Even the span of my lifetime, I have seen how governments or other in-control people rule other parts of humanity. I was born before the Second World War ended. Everyone thought that was the end of suppression of a people, but it wasn't. Since then, we have seen oppression continue based on color, belief, or groupings. Since World War II, we watched a regime in Russia, then the Cultural Revolution in China, the terrible massacres in Rwanda, and today the oppressions of indigenous peoples are being recognized but still continuing. From the Nuremberg trials, we learned how the beginning of division is created. You divide a peoples, make one section of society afraid of another, and millions were put in camps and exterminated. Today, we are falling into a similar situation, in case you don't realize it. My heart breaks when I read of hundreds of people are losing their jobs because they choose to not be jabbed. Also, other important jobs in the science say, don't get the jab, no job, no education, no access to restaurants, travel, movies, gyms, etc. And with threats of being more restrictions. But nobody seems to realize the danger in this. The question is history repeating itself? Are we going to put people in camps? We know they've built them. We know they have them because they don't fall in line with authoritative overlords. The government supporting one idea of health directives rather than another scientific evidence. But everything starts with the self. And therefore, I ask you to look at your own patterns and work with them. Where are you in judgment? Where are you not allowing yourself to really see people as people? Everyone has a struggle within their own environment, within their own life. Some of us are born with more abilities than others to do different things. Do we judge some of them for what they have or what they don't have? But for me, is what I see today is that through fear, people are beginning condemning other people. Now, we do know, and as I've heard say, that we are living in a corporate authoritative world, where the corporates dictate what we should be doing. It's not our governments, they're just yes men to whatever. Now that because of the large amount of monies people have made, that many are paid off. And there's been a lot of evidence in that. And unfortunately, to a large degree, mainstream media does not talk about these things. But there are other ways of learning what exactly is happening or going on. I know I sat last night listening and actually reading from several different vehicles of how many people are being threatened with no job if they don't get the jab. Now, what impressed me was the majority of nurses, healthcare workers that are choosing not to be jabbed. Why do you think that is? Why do you think they're willing to risk their livelihoods, their family's food supply, all of that? Because most people work because they need the monies to pay for regular life. Some of them work because their heart is in it. But now, because for some reason they know this, of all the people in the world, you would think because they've seen the people go through their COVID. You've seen the people get sick. You've seen the people die. And many of them did die, but not as many as being explained as dying from what they talk about. How come they are not running to get it? They're not running to get jabbed. They're standing firm. And I know it's hard when you've got family, when especially you've got 2 or 3 children who are needing food and now not allowed access to schools and or food. They're talking about not even being able to go and buy food if you haven't had the jab. This is the US and there. Canada's not this far along yet, but we're right behind because we've already started. And for those of people who have not decided to get the jab, no movies, no restaurants, no travel really. A lot of other things that are making you can feel is on the horizon or going. This is really repeating what happened in Germany. Sounds weird, but it is. Now, I myself and many others have had past life memories. Now, this is my metaphysical point of view. I remember being part Jewish, and I remember working in the, what do you call it? The people that rebelled against them. The word is just gone out of my head right now. And I remember having to walk around with a yellow star on me, separating me from the other people. Eventually, I was picked up, resistance. I was part of the resistance. Now, in that life, I was a singer, and I had long red hair. There's another story about my long red hair because it got shaved off when they put me in the concentration camp. And then I was literally kicked to death because I refused to be one of their ladies. So I have memories of that. I have memories of separation. Now, I was not a full Jewish person in that life. I was part Jewish, but that was all it took. I was part this or part that. But separation and non-acceptance of another people's, I thought we had evolved more than that. I thought spiritually, as a spiritual being, as a metaphysical being, as a reverend, which I am, I don't go around claiming that, but I am, it distresses me. It distresses me to the point that I have tears in my eyes and my heart weeps because I can see, but remember, I'm also psychic and I can see ahead on trends and paces and what's happening. And this is accelerated. And it's actually, I was told quite a while ago of a timeline, and it seems to be fitting because nobody's stopping the train. How do you stop the train? This was designed, this has been in place since, gosh, I don't know, think going back to the 70s they started, but it's definitely since the 90s. And they've told us over and over what they're going to do. And this is all leading towards what they call the Great Reset, where they actually change those little things you're putting in there for your passports are going to be dictating what you can buy, where you can buy it, how you can do it. You were going to be dictated by your phone. And if you're not good, if you don't do as you're told, look out. You want an authoritarian system? That's what's going to happen. If you don't want an authoritarian system, start speaking up. Stop being like me, possibly getting this taken down. I don't know. Because I'm not in an attention of saying, I'm just saying, wake up, be aware of what is happening because history is beginning to repeat itself. And that just upsets me. We have all play a part in this. We have all played a part of who we are and our own life patterns, our own judgments, our own, what would we say, belief systems about how other people are and what they are. You know, one of the things I just want to say in closing, I learned, and I talked a little bit about this just the other week, I learned a prayer technique. And it's really interesting that in this last couple of days even, I've had several people phone me who I've worked with and everything. And rather than say, oh, well, let's do a session, I just have said, well, let me do a prayer for you and you can work with that. And maybe that's where we're needing to go, is we needing to really create the thought form that this domination, this resistance, and wanting to be having the authority over everyone. If you don't think like me, you're no good. That concept, that idea, we need to just know that that is not how God works. That is not the law of nature. That is not what we really stand for as humans. Or do we? I thank you for listening. I thank you also for those of you that are watching A Sunday Thought on Sunday, and I look forward to speaking with you again. Thank you.